Vinland Saga Chapter 105. What a chapter. The chapter starts out with a discussion between Thorfinn and Halfdan, where Thorfinn notices that there's a turn in the room, trapped inside of a bird cage, but Halfdan does not really seem to care about it at all. He was gifted it from a friend because the bird itself was too weak to survive with the flock that it was with, so it became really weak and left behind. So it was staying with Halfdan, but Thorfinn wants to let it free because I think it has a lot to do with his past and how brutal his past has been, and how he wants to set it free because everyone deserves freedom. So he says, "Why don't we let the bird live? Let's have the bird decide how it wishes to live." And they release the bird, which is really interesting because the bird just flies away instantly. It has no interest in the food that is laying in the room of which they're discussing. At Halfdan, he just says, well, it's not going to live any longer anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So Halfdan can lend Thorfinn as many goods as all the livestock owned by his family is worth. But Thorfinn does not really agree with this because he does not want to involve his family in this deal, because he is a man that values his pride, right? As we previously thought. But this chapter is going to prove us otherwise. So he does not include his family in this deal because they don't have anything to do with his deal, right? So the reason that Halfdan wants to acquire something before loaning is obviously so that there's safety in the deal, so that he, even if Thorfinn fails to move over to Vinland, he will always have something to go back on, and he can always just take the stuff that his family owns, which does not belong to Thorfinn, right? So he just cannot agree to this deal. So Halfdan asks him, "What else do you own?" And basically Thorfinn responds saying, "I don't own anything, I just have my own life, which is everything I can offer to you. I do not mind offering my life to get a loan from you." But Halfdan does not have an interest in Thorfinn's life, but he does have an interest in Thorfinn's pride, which is really interesting because at this point, Halfdan seems kind of conflicted. It's almost as if the only reason that he's even staying in this room discussing with Thorfinn is because he's grown fond of Thorfinn, which really does not make a lot of sense to me because Halfdan seems like a very, very cruel character, so him growing fond of Thorfinn seems really odd to me, but it's very interesting. So, yeah, as I said, he has no interest in his life, but he has interest in his pride. I'm actually going to bring up a page here and quote him. "A large loan requires a large collateral. Man is such a foolish creature. If he has to choose between life or pride, he'll usually choose his pride. The reason why I work as a moneylender is because I enjoy exchanging money for men's pride, stripping them bare by consequence." Now, this is hilarious to me because the only reason that he's even in this business, the only reason why he chose this profession is because he loves seeing people lose their pride. That is so sick. But so Thorfinn asks Halfdan, "What do you want me to do? What can show you? Well, what can give you my pride?" And Halfdan says, "Are you willing to lick my shoes?" And Thorfinn instantly says, yeah, that's really cheap. Why would I not do that?" So he instantly bows down. But what's interesting about this is that Halfdan doesn't guarantee him anything. He just says, "I'll reconsider lending you what you need if you do this." So without anything on the table, Thorfinn just bows down and gets ready to lick his feet. And this really shows how far Thorfinn's character has come, because he's gone from this brutal kid that doesn't care about anything to what he is now. And in the earlier years, he would have just killed Halfdan, I'm pretty sure. Like, he wouldn't care, because he valued his pride so highly. But now he has just absolutely no problem with licking his shoes, and the statement, "a true warrior needs no blade," from his father Thor has never felt so relevant to me, because without anything presented to him, he just gladly bows down and attempts to lick his feet. But at this point, Halfdan stops him because he realizes that Thorfinn really doesn't care about his pride. He just really cares about moving to Vinland. And because of this, the negotiations were a failure because Thorfinn didn't have anything interesting to recommend or to offer to Halfdan. Which after that they realized that they can't even go to other people and look for a loan because if they don't have anything straight up to offer them, no one is gonna care. Um, and so in the end, it seems like for some reason Halfdan has taken an interest in Thorfinn because he gifted him 24 narwhal horns um, to attend his son's wedding as a gift for the occasion. But he couldn't lend him any money um, because he didn't have anything, that he could take later if, it failed. Because Halfdan, this is a business for Halfdan, right? He needs to make a profit somehow, at least, logically. However, if he grows fond of Thorfinn, I can see somehow that he's gonna compensate this at the end, because apparently these narwhal horns have a significant value and they're used by local craftsmen, but they're not an easy item to sell, according to Leif. Because with this gift to Thorfinn from Halfdan, it seems that he's just testing how strong his will to colonize Vinland really is. So this is kind of like, I'd say he's setting up kind of a game to watch. He's gonna watch how Thorfinn handles the situation, how he's gonna acquire the resources to come back and ask for a loan. So I think these last couple of chapters are gonna be really interesting because Thorfinn does not really seem like a salesman to me. Like right now, he's really humble. He's really nice. He doesn't care about anything except going to Vinland. But can he really convince people to buy these narwhal horns that are apparently really hard to sell? So yeah, it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how this pans out, and hopefully it's gonna speed up a little bit because these last few chapters have been pretty slow, and I'd really like to see the journey start soon. So yeah, that was it for this review of Vinland Saga chapter 105. Thanks a lot for watching, and like, comment, sub, all that stuff, and I'll see you later.